Hi, hello, welcome to Infinity Stella. Today's lead code problem is on online election. So let's understand the problem statement on lead code. You are given two integer arrays person and times. In an election, ith vote was cast for the person of I at the time of I. For each query at the time t, find out the person that was leading election at the time t. Votes cast at the time t will count towards the query. In case of tie, the most recent vote wins. Implement the two of methods whatever they gave, right? So let's understand on iPad screen for the better explanation. So here they gave that it involves an election where people are casting the votes for candidates over. See, you are tasked to determine the leader at given time, the moment based upon the votes received so far. So, after so far, you have to find out that, right? So it involves, see, first thing, voting system. So, what exactly is the voting system involving in the sense? There are multiple candidates, right? People vote for them at different times. As mentioned, they are giving the two arrays, right? So, that is what I meant. Each vote consists of a candidate ID, time, and when the time was cast. So, which particular time a vote cast, that is what's given, right? So, then we have to track the leader as well, right? So at particular time after each vote is casted, we want to determine which candidate is the leader, one who has received the most votes up to that particular point of time. That is what I meant. The candidates may more votes within the time. When you go to the next time, um, the candidate, even the leader changes. The person who are uh, the person who is top mosted or top voted candidate, he may change, right? Based upon the time. Well, so that is also we have to keep track as well. So and this method clearly mentioned that we are given the two methods, right? For querying the leader at the given time, you have to able to query the system. And so at particular time, who is the leader, how to determine it? So that is the reason where we implement the method called as queue, right? So so that is what the query method we are going to implement, right? So let's understand more with the help of, see, a table. See, given that votes and candidates and time. So one vote. So vote votes in the sense the person who are voting, the person who are voting, like there's the people who are voting to the candidate 0 at the time 0, right? The second person is voting the person 1 at the time 5. A third person is voting the same person which is 1 at the time 10. The fourth person is voting 0 at the time 15. The fifth person is voting the 0th person at the time 20. Sixth person is voting 1 at the time 25 minutes. Seventh person is voting 0 at the time 30. So that is what. So based upon which person who is leading at which particular time, we have to do this, right? So there are you can ask the questions like, what about if the time is like a 12? How do we do that? Is there anything we can come across? Even in the problem statement, it is clearly mentioned that we have to, if there we can't determine which particular time, who is the most recent leader, we have to return that value, right? That is what. So, uh, see, if consider if the time is 12, you can't determine who casted exactly right. So the person who is leading till here, see who is leading here. One is leading with the votes 2, right? So we have to consider the 2 votes. So one is leading at the 12. That is what I am saying, right? So let's understand this better by coding it, right? So let's understand directly on the lead code rather than explaining here, right? So what will I do? Yeah, I clearly mentioned that we have to keep track of leader at a given time, right? So which particular leader is I mean, who is leading at that particular time? We have to keep track of that, right? So that is the reason I'm taking the private map of integer leader at given time equal. So just we are initializing over there, right? So even the times array we are initializing there, right? So then, so what exactly I mentioned before, see we have to keep track of leaders at given time as well as the vote casted to that particular person, right? So we have to keep track that as well, right? So let's do that. Okay, first let me declare values of, sorry, leaders at a given time, new hash map, this dot times equal to times. So we have to take the, I mean, see at particular time how to take the who casted more votes, we have to declare the variable, right? So variable for max votes, taking that as 0, and even I'm taking the leader equal to -1 because leader can be of value 0 or 1. So that is the reason I'm taking the native value. So no one is initialized at that particular time. Then we have to even declare map of integer comma integer equal to count votes equal to new hash map, right? So why I declare the count votes is nothing but at particular time how many votes are casted to which particular person. I have to know that, right? So that is the reason I'm taking that. So I'm iterating over the person's array. So firstly what will I do? I'll take candidate, nothing but the person of I, and int time equal to time of I, right? So I'll so what will I do? uh, Count votes, you have to put that which candidate at which time got votes, so we have to take that, right? So candidates dot put candidate comma count votes dot get or default of candidate comma 0 plus 1. So generally I'm just initializing if it is containing the value, else increment uh, the votes. I mean, if see, consider if person, just a people are voting the same candidates, we have to increment the number of votes casted, right? So that is what I am doing it. So for particular candidate, how many votes casted? So that is what this is for, right? Then what will I do? If count votes dot get candidate is greater than or equal to max votes. So what I am doing is, if particular time, if the given votes is exceeding the maximum votes, we have to make that as a leader, right? So leader is candidate and max votes equal to count votes dot get dot candidate, right? So that is what I did. So then we have to put that particular candidate at which time he is leading. We have to put it in at leader at given time dot put at which particular time he is leading. We have to put it, right? So that is what this method. So how do we do this? Generally is mentioned that the number of person who's leading at the time of according to the rules. See, just they are saying we have to iterate the times array, and at particular time who's leading, we have to return it. So we can do it in a O of n with just transposing one array, but it can be done with a binary search, right? So just in the binary search, I'm taking left equal to 0 and right equal to times dot length minus 1 and while left is equal to right less than or equal to right, you have to calculate the mid value, mid equal to left plus right minus left by 2 if times of mid is less than t. So before that we need to like we need to check if it is present, right? If times of I equal to t, then we have to return who is a particular term, who is a leader, we have to determine. So return leader at given time dot get candidate, sorry, get times of mid. So that is what I did. Okay, then see, times of mid is less than t. So at particular time, if t mid of times is less than t, then we have to move the left pointer to mid plus 1, right? So that is the reason mid plus 1 and else right equal to mid minus 1. So if both, I mean even like see, oh, this covers the within the value, like see the time mentioned at 5, 10, 15, like that, right? What if they mention about the time like 12 minutes, we have to take care of that also, right? So we have to return leader dot sorry, leader at a given time dot get of times of right. So most recent, so that is what right is, times of right is. Okay, let's understand where is the error. Okay, there is a spelling mistake here. Okay, there is an error at here as well. This dot leader at a given time cannot find symbol. Right, persons, actually it is a persons of y and times of y. So times of, yeah, times of not I, it is mid, right? Why would I am taking I? Yeah, that's it is accepted. Let's submit it. Right, it is working. See, for this the time complexity is O of log n, and for this method the time complexity is O of the persons, I mean whatever the person's length, which it will be, if it is a length of um, n, then it will be the length of that. So yeah, and overall length it can be n plus log of n. And space complexity we are taking the map, right? So for that we are taking O of n. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you.